So, hey everyone, today I'm going to talk to Michael Brett. He has a unique coaching program. It's funny, how we met and how we got into the topic. And I'm like, hey, we need to do a podcast together. So, what he does is coaches people. What he coaches, how we got into it, all that stuff. I'll let Brett kind of start with it and I'll dig deeper into what he's teaching, how we got into it. So, Brett, kind of Michael, I'm going with last name, but Michael, let's go with where you were to where you are now, essentially your history and how you got into what you're doing now.
Okay. How how I got into this was really an unexpected accident. Well, and a series of tragedies also. I guess that's how a lot of things get started, but I never knew that I would be doing this. Um, I have always had kind of a knack for relationship stuff. Um, my entire life in my friends group, I've always been the guy that the other guys talk to.
Mhm.
Um, but it was just, I don't know, I never knew it was going to be a thing like it is now. But what happened what happened was I had a relationship, my 6 year relationship that fell apart.
Mhm.
And I made it, I became very determined to understand what it was about me that was holding us back. I was trying to understand it, those things don't fall apart all at once. I was trying to understand it during the relationship and it just wasn't there. But I hit, I don't like to say that I was depressed, but I guess I was depressed and nothing I was doing was working. Um, one day, the story is a lot more dramatic than this, but I can't take up the entire time. So one day, to relieve my own depression, I began writing.
Mhm.
And before I looked up, I had written 17 pages.
Wow.
And it was just me trying to sort out my own mind,
Mhm.
right? And then that felt good. That was healthy.
Mhm.
Wrote some more,
Mhm.
wrote some more,
Mhm.
wrote some more,
Mhm.
and started reading it, looking at it, and going, "This looks helpful. I think this is helpful. I think I can help. Other people need to see this." But I wasn't sure because who am I? I've been in IT for 20 years, right?
Mhm.
Um, but because of my IT background, I took every page of that and I put it on the internet.
Mhm.
Just made a web, turned it into a website.
Mhm.
And because I was single, I was on dating apps,
Mhm.
and my mission on the dating apps really shift from me to let me find out if I'm crazy or not. So I every woman that I matched with,
Mhm.
I pointed them to my website
Mhm.
and just said, "Hey, let's go over all of this stuff with me. Tell me what you think. Tell me what you think."
Mhm.
And then I got a set of questions. I'm just like, so what is the perfect man to all of these different women?
Mhm.
Like what are we supposed to be trying to do?
Mhm.
What do these women really want?
Mhm.
And every woman that I talked to, I hit with the same five questions. Or really the main thing I would say was give me your top five qualities you look for in your perfect man or a high value.
Mhm.
Uh, I really thought there was going to be a lot of the same answers over and over,
Mhm.
but it wasn't. It,
Mhm.
it really wasn't. It was like, wow, this is really is. There's a reason why this is so hard. All of these women are saying different stuff, but there was a common theme,
Mhm.
and I was able to capture that theme across hundreds of women.
Mhm.
And then I took that theme and applied it to my previous experiences, my previous relationships, my friends' relationships, and just dove deeper into the material that I was writing and would just ping it off of different women. And they're just like, yeah, I love this. I love this. And towards the end of that, after I'd been doing, I did this for almost 2 years,
Mhm.
just focused and wrote and hammered on this. Like,
Mhm.
I think I can build a roadmap for men.
Mhm.
And that's what I was doing.
Mhm.
And then a publisher saw the website,
Mhm.
reached out to me, hey, what is this? I was like, I really don't know. He said, Yeah, well, it looks like it could be a book. Would you like to write a book? And I thought, sure, why not?
Mhm.
So I kept writing,
Mhm.
put down more and turned it into a book.
Mhm.
And, and earlier I spoke on tragedies. Around the time I'm putting this together, my best friend
Mhm.
was going through, he was really going through it. He was really struggling with
Mhm.
his marriage, and he had a young daughter, and he was really losing himself. And I had every intention of taking this material to him, but I didn't have the confidence to try and change his life and his marriage. And before he ever knew anything about it, that here I am writing this plan out for him just to help, just see if I can help. He took his own life.
Wow.
You know, that was tragic, emotional, and still, not knowing what I was doing, I said, you know what? If I can help if I can help one person, if I can stop one person from taking their life, it's worth the effort.
Mhm.
And I immediately took to Facebook and just started talking to guys, finding guys who are in that in that headspace, and started communicating. And it took about 3 weeks before
Mhm.
I'm a guy calls me with a bag of cocaine, a bottle of Jack, and his 45. And he's sitting on his tailgate looking back at his house where his wife and kids are, and he's holding his gun. And I'm like, oh my God,
Holy cow.
what have I done? What am I doing?
Mm.
And he and I talked for 3.5 hours. um, Talked him down, and we still talk. That was 2 years ago. That happened a few more times. I don't want to go into every story. They're all just as terrible.
Mhm.
Before I realized, all right, I'm going to have to change my focus, but and try to get them, try to find these guys before they're in that moment, because it was actually killing me from the inside.
Yeah.
I wasn't sleeping. I've got a pretty big heart myself, and I'm just like, boom, putting myself there with them for hours. And anyway, that's how it got started.
Mhm.
I've gone away from this suicide and tried to find a much more positive avenue, and it's been working. It's been helping. I've stopped 4 suicides. I don't know, several marriages, several guys. It's always different.
Right.
That's another interesting part about this is I wasn't following a roadmap when I got started, and it's
Right.
just people will raise their hand. You
Mhm.
think you can help me? And the answer is yes. Now I almost have to craft it a little bit to meet them where they are.
Right.
But it's it's been the most rewarding thing that I've ever done. And every time I'm watching these people, it's just, I don't consider myself an expert at all.
Mhm.
I believe that there's only one expert for every man. You are the master of your domain.
Mhm.
The answers that you need are inside you.
Mhm.
You have to open your heart, which is very difficult for men who walk around with a hardened heart.
Mhm.
But if you can first heal, open your heart,
Mhm.
challenge yourself, challenge 10, 15 years
Mhm.
of being a hard ass and your way of thinking, you can get your answers that fit your needs
Mhm.
inside of you. But sometimes you need some coaching,
Mhm.
and it's really just, let's dig into your situation a little bit and let me give you a different angle.
Mhm.
And what does that sound like? And let's get your mind, just put that brain to work.
Mhm. Uh-huh.
um, so I don't know. That's where it started. That's kind of how it's working out right now. Do you have any other questions?
Yeah. No, I was about to ask. I was letting you finish. But
Sure.
first, your book. What's the book called? I'm going to post that
Okay.
links and all that stuff when I post. What's the book?
The
Uh,
book is called it's the book is called Screw Her Mind,
Mhm.
and it's kind of a play on words. Some people take that very negatively. Other people think it's kind of funny. It's really, there is a sexual hint to the title. There is a sexual hint to the entire process, but it's positive. It's a very positive sexual hint. It's, when you have good chemistry with your partner,
Mhm.
you just have, when you're having great sex together,
Mhm.
there's a lot of things that are going on. There's a lot of positivity to that. I mean,
Mhm.
it, it's, I'm not going to shy away from that.
Mhm.
If you're having a great sex life together, you're doing a lot of things right
Right.
in order to, usually, in order to get you there.
Mhm.
The theme, if I could, the theme to the book and the entire approach and what I tell every guys and what I've really picked up through my research journey with all these women is the theme is safe, happy, horny.
Mhm.
That's like when I'm working with my guys, the biggest hole that women are looking for to fill is emotional security.
Mhm.
That's what they crave the most, and that's what they are lacking the most is their man providing them emotional security.
Mhm.
So that's the safety part.
Mhm.
So I say safe, happy, horny, but they're not equal. Your communication with your woman needs to be 60, 70% making her feel safe and secure. That's physical safety, that's financial safety, and then that's emotional safety. Just being her safe place. I'm going to speak generally here, but I don't know what it is. Women have or men have more confidence about ourselves. It
Mhm.
seems like women have this extra layer of insecurity where they just worry. They're just worried. They make up things to worry about. They're just worry, 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 worry. And
Mhm.
then they worry about how much they're worrying. And it's like, it's a, and when they have a man who can just say, hey, you're not crazy. Yeah, you're a little crazy, but I love your crazy. You can be crazy over here in my arms.
Right.
That's what they want. That emotional comfort, emotional security. You're everything you're feeling. I understand it, or even if I don't understand it, it's okay. I get you. You're mine. We're going with it,
Mhm.
and it's hard because a lot of times, and this is where it's really hard. Is as men,
Mhm.
we are actually causing the insecurity to come out.
Mhm.
And then they want to come tell us about it.
Right.
So, well, man to man, if you and I, if I'm pissing you off and you tell me about it, there's going to be a confrontation.
Right.
Our natural response is man to man. Okay, but we're going to, and that's how we're used to dealing with that kind of rift. Is it's a confrontational rift, but with a woman, it's just like she, even though we are the cause of the insecurity, we are making her feel the insecurity.
Mhm.
She needs us to just listen
Mhm.
and tell her, I do understand you,
Mhm.
and I talk a lot about apology and forgiveness. I talk a lot about forgiveness,
Mhm.
but being that safe place, even though can be the cause, maybe we are the cause of the problem, listen to it. Don't immediately rush to a solution. Just be there for her to explain herself. That's all the security stuff. So the theme is safe, happy, horny. So it's 60, 70% safety, all of that security, that emotional. And then we do, 20, 30% making her happy. And then just 5, 10% of the time you're keeping it fun. You're trying to keep the trying to keep her keep her hormones turning, keep from being too boring. That's the horny. So safe, happy, horny. That's the theme of the book. That's the theme of the program.
Yeah. No, I mean, there's a lot in it, obviously. One is number one, safety, right? That itself probably is a whole podcast worthy, really.
Yeah.
Because I have dug into the women's psyche, and then it's a genetics, right? It's historic. I mean, it's coming from Neanderthal age, basically, because women's safety is number one paramount. Now,
Yeah.
I guess it's more emotional also, but previously it was physical security because
Right.
they're whatever, the animal instincts, whatever,
Right.
they're
Right.
aggressive. So that's a great point, first of all. All those are great points, but one thing I wanted to go back to, you made a key point I don't want people to miss about going inward with men, right? And being able to express also. One of the things I think most men, I mean, I used to try to struggle. I probably still struggle with that sometimes, is expressing emotions, accepting other person's emotion.
Yeah.
You know, I guess how do you coach people through that? What's the
So this is
simplest way you found people to get more into
it.
it, essentially be more successful from where they were not?
It takes a great deal of self-confidence to
Hmm.
allow yourself to be that vulnerable with other people, with anybody, and men and women, let's just focus on men. We spend 90% of our time talking to other men.
Hmm.
I mean, you think about that for a minute. So all day, every day, we're talking to other men. And then when you do talk to a woman, you have to really change your mindset. I can't say I got you. You do. We all do. So 90% of the time you're talking to other men and you're just in your man mode. But then we try to carry that over. And 90% of the time when we're talking to men, there is no vulnerability.
Hmm.
There is no emotional thing. That's not how we communicate. It's very direct. It's very to the point.
Hmm.
We skip all that. You almost get laughed at, if to take that back even further. If you think about, we grew up obviously in different cultures, but you're still a man. I bet it was the same thing for you. I can remember back when we're boys, we're very emotional. That's no thing. Crying, being upset. It's okay when you're a child. But there's this time frame where we transition into adulthood, during adolescence, where we're all looking around. How do you be a man? How am I supposed to be a man? And it's just, how are we supposed to act? How does a man act? I want to be a man. I want to be, we all have aspirations of what a man is supposed to be like. But one thing it's not is emotional. Like, you get drilled into your head 13, 14, 15, 16. Anything emotional is feminine.
Mm.
And you get picked on for it. You get beat up and bullied and made fun of. And just your peers teach you that emotions are feminine, and you're on a mission to be as manly as possible. As you still got big dreams and big hopes, and you think you're going to be flying jet airplanes or something, like whatever it is. When you got those young aspirations, emotions are not a part of it.
Right.
And if you show any emotion, when you're 15, the 17-year-olds are just going to beat it out of you. You just crush it and learn to just push it down. And your father, or whoever your fatherly influence is, he learned the same thing, but he's not doing anything to make it any better. And we carry that but then we carry that into a relationship with women who emotions are everywhere. They turn to each other all the time and share their feelings and share their emotions and share and share and share. And we get it. And it's like, what do you do? What do we do with this? What do we do with this? Men don't talk to each other like this.
Mhm.
So to answer your question, I have to start with guys and just say, you're not being feminine, you're
Mhm.
being human. Love, love is a part of being human. And it's the best part of being alive.
Mhm.
Allow yourself to love. And just when I first start, they guys just cringe almost like, can I say love to you? Like, it's weird. Can I use that? And then like, yes, dude. Yes, yes, it's okay. There is a there is a masculine way to be emotional.
Mhm.
The the other side of this is very common also. I don't want to forget where guys just they get in a relationship and it's like, finally, I've got someone I can be vulnerable with.
Mhm.
Finally, I can open up with this person. And then it's just this emotional dump. It's an emotional dump that is an unbearable burden for any one person, no matter who they are,
Right.
to just accept all the emotions that they're hiding, keeping, and bottling up. It's like, here, here, woman, you're my girlfriend. Handle all this shit, and and then those are the men who look needy, and that's how you push women away, and they don't want anything to do with you. I was talking to my sister just the other day, and she's talking about this new guy, and she's like, Michael, this is the only man I've ever been with who doesn't just completely drain me. I'm like, really? She's like, usually when guys are around, I am ready for them to because she's got a big heart and a big personality and she listens. Yes, she just is used to handling this emotional dump that guys are
Topic.
because we don't have those conversations.
Right.
So yeah, the first letting them open up, teaching them the balance of there is a masculine way to show your emotions.
Mhm.
Um, First they got to have permission to accept that, and then they got to work on doing it and exercising it in their daily life.
Gotcha. Yeah, there's a lot in there, for the lack of time, I guess we won't get deep into it. But one of the key points I want people to understand what Michael made there is embracing the masculine and feminine energy. Everybody. I mean, man or woman, there's both in us. And in this world, somehow it's become, you know, kind of wrong to embrace. Evidently, you can be masculine or feminine, or, you can't embrace both. You have to be one or the other only, strictly, or whatever the case is. But that is very, very, I mean, very in-depth point. I'm sure if Michael had an hour, he would go more into it because that's an endless topic itself.
But it's really, if you just sit down and talk about it, you know, as important as it is compared to the amount of time it is to really sort it out, it's not that big. It's just like it's there is a way to do it, but we don't ever think about it. We don't ever talk about it. It's not out there. You barely really read about it. But that's why I spent 2 years. Let me boil this down in a way. What is that line? What is that balance of you know what is masculine emotion supposed to look like? From a man to a woman. Once you understand it, it really becomes kind of not that it's not that big a deal. Um,
That is
you know, one
very.
of the things, one of the things, and I know we don't have a lot of time, but this is why having a good group of friends is really important for men. Positive friends who have their best interests in heart, who you can be vulnerable with.
Mhm.
Um, that's that's just as important as the woman in your life.
Mhm.
But what that does is you can hash out all the BS with your guys. They'll listen to if you've got a good group of guys. Then when you turn to your woman, you want to be firm, and you have every right to your feelings,
Mhm.
but you want to kind of wrap it up in a way that sounds like masculine leadership. You know, you want to just make the point, whatever it is, and keep it short
Mhm.
and direct,
Mhm.
and don't sob and cry. I don't, you know, but because we still have those feelings, she just don't need it all. It's not, it's, she don't need it all of that.
Mhm.
That's why having, you need somebody, other people in your life. That's why church is important. You know, whatever that support system is a really big deal, and it helps you stay balanced, because having that unbalanced, you know, that's how you end up losing women,
Mhm.
losing your relationship.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, that's a great point. You know, you can read, I'll be posting all the info for Michael, his website, his book, and I guess any calendar or anything. Michael shares with me
Yeah.
that you can schedule time with him and talk to him and see if he can help you guys. I might have him on a different topic another time, but for now, I'm going to go to the last three questions. I do have a lot of other questions, but I'm going to cut it
And
short.
we can do this, man. I love talking to you. We hit it off immediately when we met. You know, we had, within the first 4 minutes of meeting each other, one of the most interesting conversations
I
that
know.
are just so unrelated to any of this. I'm like, let's get back into that sometime. That was really cool stuff. But yeah,
Yeah, no,
let's stick to the program here.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, we'll have a conversation offline, I guess, for the rest of the people not to get into that conversation. But last three questions I have is, what's the best book you've read or recommend other people reading, apart from your book, obviously, that
Yeah,
can help people, or you think it has helped you? You know, maybe it's just helped you. So,
I know I can. It's right here. While I was writing, I was going through my own growth phase,
Mhm.
and that's what I really focus on people who are, you know, the relationships either over or about to be over, because then they're the most vulnerable and easiest to work with. But what am I supposed to do now? You enter a growth phase
Mm,
because you stopped learning a long time ago. You're doing this, you got the same old bad habits.
mhm,
You're aging, but you're not growing, if that
mhm,
makes sense. So when I was in my growth phase, all of the writing got me back into reading. And I took a weekend with just a stack of books, just read and read and read. And this is Think and Grow Rich, but there's a specific chapter. So uh, I hated the idea of turning 40.
mhm,
I hated it, hated it, hated it. I worked so hard in my 20s to have my life together,
mhm,
and years of planning. And I just, for some reason,
mhm,
thought I didn't have a lot of guidance.
mhm,
But for some reason, I thought my life was going to be all done before 40, and I'm just going to chill after that.
mhm,
And then what happens, you realize everything you thought you wanted when you're in your 20s, you don't care about any of that anymore.
right.
Then it happens again in your 30s, and then it just happens again. So as I'm getting up past into my 40s, I was really beating myself up over who the hell am I? Where am I at? Why am I blah 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 blah. And then, you know, I'm reading this book, and there's a part in here. There's there's one chapter, one whole chapter, chapter 11. But one of the biggest things was where he's talking about all of the people who really pick up when they hit 40,
Mm,
whose lives,
yes.
all of the millionaires, or really forget money, all of the influential people who have made a difference in this world,
Mm,
who really were nobody
mhm,
until about 45 years old. And that was so liberating. And it's in here, just example after example after example, how, you know, you've spent 20 years of mistakes, and then you turn all of that stuff and say, well, those were all lessons. All those mistakes were lessons.
mhm,
And you put it all together, and you turn it into something positive. And all of these people in the book, you know, that's what they did. And then they started a whole new life based on all of their previous mistakes.
Mhm.
And that was so liberating. And I come out of that with a whole new level of just permission for myself, forgiveness, that's why I think forgiveness is the most important part of everything I do. But yeah, so Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill, that chapter specifically
Is
is
very
my favorite book. Yeah.
awesome. Yeah, no, that's one of the things, same thing, when I turned 40, I ran through the same things, right?
Yeah.
Similar emotions. Think and Grow Rich, and it's the main book. Other one is, if you haven't read, anybody that hasn't read the Success Principles, which is the original Think and Grow Rich. Amazing, amazing book. Even better than the Think and Grow Rich. I would
Oh
highly
yeah.
recommend. Obviously, great book recommendation. All right, next is, you probably already shared this, but what inspires you to get up and do what you do every day?
I still feel the pain.
Mm,
I still feel the pain that kicked all of this off.
mm,
So yeah, and it's kind of weird. I almost don't want it to go away. I
mm,
need it to go away. I need to be completely healed
mm,
from it, but I lost one friend directly to suicide, one friend,
mm,
his relationship ended, and he died. He's gone now too. He drank himself to death. And
mm,
then in my story, which is in the book also,
mm,
they're all just a series of tragedies, and I've been able to take the pain,
mm,
turn it into something positive, and go forward. And I still feel it. When the alarm goes off, God gave you this opportunity. Get up, get to work, get to building, find people, reach people,
mm.
continue crafting your message, just keep working. So that's it now. I don't know if it'll change. I need it to, I don't want it to ever go away, honestly. But I want the energy to stay. I want the pain to go away. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah, no, we can talk about that later, but that topic later. But
Yeah,
that's, yeah, that very true. What you said is also true, is it can change in the future, because I've experienced some changes there. What
yeah.
inspires me today might not inspire me, year down the road. But anyway, last but not the least, what's the one tip you can share with all this journey, all the stuff you probably taught people, coached people, help people with? What's the one tip that can help? That's a help to you, but also can help others.
I'll just say one word,
Mhm.
just forgiveness. I mean, I can elaborate if you want, but I can stop right there. If people will just forgiveness, it's so liberating.
It is. It is. There's a key thing there. If anybody is trying to meditate, and if you want to go Zen level meditation, here's the tip I'll add to that. Learning to forgive and love the other person who wronged you can take your meditation level to higher level. So with that, Michael, great talking to you, man. I had so much other stuff to talk to you, but we'll maybe set up another podcast, but we'll set up a time to talk. But I'll be sharing anyway, getting to this point, I'll be sharing Michael's info, and whoever is looking for that kind of help or more info, how we can help you, in the
And it
relationship.
doesn't even have to be help because
Mhm,
I learn from people all the time
mhm,
and apply it. And we're all living in the same world, but everybody's got a little different lens.
mhm.
Um, so, you know, I like learning. I'm still putting everything together myself. So if
Mhm.
you just want to have a conversation about it, any of it, yeah,
Awesome.
don't be intimidated or a lot of guys hate asking for help. That's why I almost don't like to say that. It doesn't even have to be help. It's just if we've sparked an idea, let's just talk about it. See where.
There you go. That's a great point. Actually, that's a great point. Yeah, just have a conversation and see if there is a
Yes.
energy there, or something that you guys can talk together and all. And that's my number one thing. Like Michael said, yeah, men don't try to, like, oh, I don't need help kind of
Yeah, I
deal.
don't need help for that. And they take it. It's an ego thing.
It's a ego thing. Yeah, we all
Yeah.
go through that. We all have that issues. I mean, even now I do, right?
Oh
Even though
yeah.
I know that my
Yes. Yeah.
ego is too big, I still have coming back. So anyway, all right, man.
Yeah.
Awesome. Again, thanks for taking the time, Michael.
All right, buddy. Good to see you.